So, what are the effects of sexual intercourse with a man? I've seen, I've been around the world, yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't find my baby. I was at this girl house and I seen what her vagina looked like after being penetrated by a man, and I was like, I don't understand why you like men if that's what it's gonna do to you. And then on top of that, you gotta know what you're doing though, cause some people like, you know what I'm saying, don't know what they doing. That's why I be questioning them, like, did you get raped? Cause sometimes you don't have to have, it don't have to be obvious, but there are women out here that get penetrated a lot. I don't care if they a hoe or not. And I'm like, I really hope that the men that's making babies with these women, I mean, unless they're, unethical, bullshitting ass bitches that you really can't care about from an intellectual perspective, but a real nigga is still gonna take care of some shit, if you know what I'm saying, just for the greater good of mankind. So with all that being said, I'm like, you know, I'm a rape victim, but I won't view myself as a victim naturally. I'll go ahead and create the intellectual identity of heteronormity and justify it, with my body trying to feel pleasured by it. But at the end of the day, it's still, you don't go around taking people pussy holes and shit. It's still a crime. And at the end of the day, it's a crime for me, especially because there are women that want to fight with me, and on the emotional level, I'm not with their competent thing. But some women ain't like that. I guess some women are dominatrix and they like, I like having sex with men with other women. It's fun. But it just depends on the paradigms you form. You know what I'm saying? I think that being with a man can be fun if you're a heterosexual woman. But if you got all these bad experiences, there's no way to make it fun. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference between role play and actual life. You know what I'm saying? You know how people be like, well, I'm gonna fight a bitch and then fuck my nigga. He like that shit. I don't like that shit. I'm down with monogamy. That's my take on it. You know what I'm saying? I would want to be in a monogamous relationship. So if I'm laying down with you know what I'm saying, if I'm with somebody, it gotta be just us. I'm an intellect. I need submission. It ain't even about sex. It's about laying down and watching TV. But yeah, I think from a medical standpoint, any doctor would say, well, any man would say, I expect the friction that I'm causing when I'm making love to a woman, or, you know what I'm saying? Some women just want to fall. It just depends on the paradigm you fall. Like I said, making love is something that a woman may need if she has, I think when you taught that, like I said, I was growing up and I used to be telling niggas like, I'm really trying to normalize this shit. And I'm like, I really ain't with this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I really do regret my life as a woman just based off the demographic I was born in. I'm like, I was born in Atlanta. If I was a man, I would have been a nigga with notoriety, a street nigga. I would have been selling dope to people just basically getting notoriety off my looks and, my character and the things that I've done, but I wasn't encouraged to do a lot of things, so I didn't have enough support. I mean, I had the support, but like I said, my female identity has been toxic for me. Seeing what my mom went through, she ain't, people, I had to get stressed a little bit. There had to be tension created. My dad had a girlfriend. My mom and my dad made me for some reason, and then he had a girlfriend, and they really wanted to create this whole tension in between us. I'm like, it shouldn't be no tension. It is what it is. When I go around my dad, he like, I'm about to make my daughter tough. Da, 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 da. He didn't have control over those people. I know he cares to a certain degree, but he didn't have control over those men. He would apologize on their behalf, like, I know they doing it to you. You just gotta tough that shit out. And they were gonna sit there and see, how do you think your dad love you? Your daddy told me to do that. Nah, he won't tell you to do no shit like that. I'm like, not no real nigga. You ain't no daddy finna just tell some nigga to have sex with his kid. Tension. But it's okay if you have intellectual capacity and you can do shit like that, do it. If you want to win, you win. I've got to worry about women that are really putting men on pedestals. You know, there are some men in my life that I thought was judgmental, but I see they not. I'm like, you know, when you're polygamous, I think one woman balances out the other. I'm like, I need submission. I don't like masculinity in a woman. I'm jealous of manhood, and I'm like, these men get to be picky and shit like that. I'm like, when you're a man, you really ain't picky. I'm a woman, so I have to think a lot harder about shit. I'm like, I gotta have a feminine detox. These women don't want to act feminine for me because they respect and value the quality of life of manhood. I think that's why all them niggas was fucking me like that growing up, because they wanted to ruin my reputation as a whole and be like I'm weak and I'm gonna get more respect than you out here in these streets. That's exactly what they were doing. So now I gotta worry about all these women viewing me in a certain light that ain't even true, and I'm just trying to live my life. Trying to live my life. I don't be doing shit wrong. You can't help what stresses you out. Like I said, I didn't even expect to get this job, but shit happens. I don't understand why I'm not even getting respect when I sit here and clearly I gave myself a heterosexual identity. What the fuck more do you guys want? All these women got deep voices and shit now, and it's all because of manhood. Some of us are being emasculated. A lot of us are. We gotta deal with it. Like I say, liquor put hair on your chest, drink a little bit, your voice turns out to be a little different. It's fucked up when I'm taking offense to somebody's personality. It really didn't make any sense that, all the men in my life was sitting there doing all that shit to me. They was the difference between, I think, the emotions of me and like my cousins and stuff. I think they was sitting there. I'm like, most men are not supposed to take offense to, what I'm saying, a competent situation. I wasn't thinking about it too hard until I realized, till I dealt with certain situations or I was in certain situations. But I'm like, by the time I got to ninth grade, I realized that it was really a difference between me and a man. I don't know. It probably was before then, but I'm like, at some point I realized that these motherfuckers really want to take pride in their gender identity. And I'm like, really want to be like, nah, this, that, and the third. I had a girl that I done dealt with that rings in my head. I'm like, I shouldn't be rejected with your personality if I'm a lesbian. But people would do certain shit to you. Certain people are just built a certain way, and ain't nothing you can do about that. So I guess the low lives, the people that's not supposed to have good character are supposed to be competent with each other. Some people do it like that. Well, I actually value this person because they actually haven't did anything wrong in their life. I haven't seen that. Personally, I really don't believe that exists. I'm like, most people in my life are what they call sinners. I never just seen a good person just walk around and just be a good person. There's always tension to be created because I'm pretty sure there are very well off people, whether it's because they got gold, they got natural resources. We've all got access to it. It's all about muscle, money versus muscle. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, no, I don't need this money out this cash drawer. I'm muscle. You get out of my establishment, people gonna respect me more because it's a business that I created. So how do I deal with my, so-called inferiority complexes? But yeah, I got autistic personalities ringing in my head. Being a female boxer, I don't know how they get down. I'm gonna watch more of the fights, but I actually, don't support the act of women fighting each other in a competent way because it's wrong. But yeah, some people really do have dumbfounded personalities, and ain't nothing you can do about that shit. I grew up in Atlanta, and when I be seeing videos of downtown Atlanta on YouTube, I'm like, that's really how that shit look. It just look ghetto. Then when you go to Cobb County, it feel different. It's just like my grandma lived on Hogan Road, but and all them old people was toxic for me. But on Hogan Road, that's supposed to be like a suburban vibe. It got that, old school feel, you know, kind of sort of like that. And there are people that actually grow up in the more city like parts of Atlanta. Like I grew up in the house in the heart of, in Atlanta. I grew up downtown on Windsor Street. Yeah, but I dealt with a lot of shit. Like this lady named Terry, her boyfriend. It's just a lot. I dealt with that typical situation. Like you see that movie Daddy's Girls, motherfucker touched on me, shit like that. I'm like, motherfuckers was doing it on purpose, I thought. I'm like, you doing all this shit to create tension, so when you get older, that McDonald's down the street, nah, she ain't gonna come out here. She got too many bad experiences. Some people will set you up for the okey doke like that. It's all good though. I got y'all though.